Marketing That Works is the podcast for business owners who want to move their brand forward so that they can bring in more sales and clients. I'm Danielle Harris, and I'm bringing you what I know from more than 12 years of experience in traditional and online marketing. I have created marketing strategies for businesses of all sizes, from multi-million-dollar corporations to early-stage online businesses. Remember, some marketers chase fads. I believe in mastering the fundamentals.
You've got girl boss mode or choosing the soft life. But are those the only two choices? For the past few weeks, I've been talking about testing and experimenting with marketing, knowing what works and what doesn't work. But you've been burned before. You've worked hard, tried all the things, tested all the things. And all that got you was feeling tired and wanting to burn your business down to the ground. So you said that you weren't going to do that anymore. You were going to do things differently. You weren't going to stress out and you were going to embrace the soft life. And while you feel better, your business isn't exactly where you want it to be. So today, I want to break down balancing the soft life with still making your goals and your business happen. I'm going to talk about how your fear of burning out again is making it difficult for you to go after the things that you want in your business, and how working to build your business and living the soft life, they can go hand in hand. But let's start with what got you here in the first place. You burned out. You did too much. You didn't honor what your body was telling you. You weren't honoring what you needed. And your body told you to take several seats. I've personally had multiple seasons of burnout in my life, starting in high school, then again in my corporate career, and just last year in my business. I know that when I was in my corporate job, I was on Christmas vacation with my family in Mexico, and I was sitting on the beach, I was getting sun, but I wasn't enjoying myself because I was answering work emails because we were 1 week away from the grand opening of the Dubai office, and I was the one who needed to approve everything. I went from a non relaxing Christmas vacation to then 4 days later, I went to Dubai for 2 weeks. And then coming back from Dubai, I went right into work the next day. And then right that weekend, went on this girls trip for the weekend. Like I was just working and working and working, stressing out for weeks. And I was done. I was burnt out. I was burnt out from, I want to say, the end of January to at least the end of April. And I was also doing my master's program at the same time. So like I was burnt out. I know burnout. And if you're actively in a period of burnout, if you can't seem to get yourself working and you just don't have the energy, then I want you to go to episode 29 of this podcast, where I had an amazing conversation with Nikkei, where we talked about being in an active burnout period and all the ways to navigate that. But the burnout experience happens because you want results. You want it to happen, but you do it all at the expense of your own well being. After I came out of the other side of my burnout in my corporate job, I said that, yeah, I do not want to be burned out like that again. So when the next December rolled back around, I asked my boss, actually, no, I did not ask. I told my boss that I would not be coming into work for the month of December. I had enough time off. I'm going to say it was about 2.5 weeks. I told him that I can take these 2.5 weeks and I could use part of that time that I have left as work from home and the rest of my time off, or I can just be unpaid for the time that I didn't have. Either way, I was not going to be coming back in. And I said that because I was so committed to not burning out again. I wanted to end my year with a soft life. So, with a month off, I went to morning hot yoga 3 days a week. I deep cleaned and organized everything that I wanted. I had lunch with friends. I fully lived the life that I wanted to have. And I didn't want to compromise on that again. I see something similar like this happen to a lot of other people who have faced burnout before. They remember how terrible they felt. They enjoyed the life and experience that they had in their post burnout healing journey. And they're determined not to go back to that burnout life. But something happens along the way and it ends up backfiring, especially in business. You want to have this easeful approach to things, and having this easeful approach to life, like it's great, but it ended up not leading to the results that you wanted in your business. Not because results can't come with ease, but because you accidentally equated doing any type of focused energy work as burnout behavior. Like if it doesn't feel good or requires a bit more energy, it feels like, oh, this is way too close to burnout. The way that I describe it to my clients is this. Imagine a line numbered 1 to 100. When you were burned out, you were operating consistently like 85 to 100, like for a long time. And after you started to heal and recover, you started to operate at like a 35, a 45 range, and you feel good. You were living life, you had your morning routine that you liked. You may have also been working on your business, but you also didn't see the progress and the momentum and the results that you wanted. But that didn't matter because feeling well and balanced was the most important. Then, when you decided that you did in fact want to focus and work on your business again, you realized that you needed to take your energy from, say, a 45 to a 65. And 65 feels way too close to your burnout range. Remember, your burnout range was like 85 to 100. 65 is still a ways away from that. But your brain and your body, they are still scared of burnout, still scared of putting in focus, work, and energy. And that's because you don't trust yourself to keep your boundaries. I know that was one of the core things for me. I know that when I had my burnout season last year, I didn't trust myself to stop working at the time that I set. I was convinced that I only had two modes, either all the way working or all the way chilling, like no in between, because that's how I had operated for years. For me, if I still had energy, then I should still be working. And honestly, even if I didn't have energy, I should still be working. I think it was honestly around like 2023 that all the girly pops were saying like, oh, like we need to be in our soft life era. And the tides really shifted from like that girl boss hustle culture to ease and being in like this feminine flow. Now, these were multi-million dollar coaches who were talking about delegating and slowing down and not working as hard. So really what was happening was that this mindset was trickling down to a lot of early stage coaches who didn't have the established businesses or the team or the resources to take a break without the business stopping. These multi-million dollar coaches, they can afford to rest because they have already put in the work to have a six-figure ad funnel in place. And I'm not bashing them because that's great for them. I'm so glad that all of them realize like, oh, we do need to take time to rest and be soft and do all of these things. And I love that for them because they have the resources to do that. Creating those resources took work. But if you don't have funnels that passively deliver for your clients, and if your business is what funds your life, you have to take that soft life advice with a grain of salt. I personally always took that advice with a grain of salt. I knew that creating something worthwhile would require effort, but I also knew that there had to be a way that doesn't require this ongoing cycle of burnout and recovery. So when I was finally feeling great, when I was finally gaining my energy back after burning out in my business, I didn't want to repeat that same terrible cycle. So the question is it possible to get results in your business without burning out? It is, but it will require practice. It requires you to realize that with all things in life, creating things that you want will require some sort of effort. But the attitude you bring to it determines if that effort feels easeful or stressful. So let's take right now, for example. I'm in a season where I'm testing and experimenting with my marketing. And by nature, testing and evaluating means that you're going to see gaps in areas. You'll see things that can be improved. So an attitude that would lead to stress for me is thinking like, oh, I have to fix all of these gaps right now. That has to come first. I need to do everything to fix this. That attitude will burn me out. And I literally had a friend call me out and say like, Danielle, make sure that you are not falling into that trap that you always get yourself in that can lead to burnout. But the attitude that I'm actively working on right now is so great. It says like, oh, I love that I know this information. I am so glad that I'm aware of these gaps because now I can choose one thing to test and try and improve. I will make progress this way. I will feel less stressed out this way when I take this attitude. I won't burn out when I take this approach. Yet I'll still make progress towards my goal. And that's how you keep the soft life while still working towards your goal. That's how you do work that makes a difference in your business without pushing yourself to the edge. You do things like take a lunch break, even if you're scheduled for a focused day of work. You celebrate the progress that you made, even if you thought like, oh, I thought I'd be further, but you still celebrate the progress that you did make. Because the thought that you would be further along on a project leads you to overworking and burnout. And let's be honest, there are going to be times where you're just like, I don't want to do this work. I don't want to do it. There'll be times when you're like learning to edit a video and it feels like it takes forever to get the captions to look like the way that like all the IG girlies are doing it. And you'll be tempted to just be like, you know what? I'm just going to stay in my soft life era and just like chill and relax and calm down. But I want you to ask yourself, is learning this editing burning me out, or am I just frustrated with learning something new? Knowing the difference will help you give yourself time and grace, because not all hard things lead to burnout. Some things are just frustrating, and learning the difference between you being frustrated and you getting close to burnout is going to be key to balancing the soft life era and accomplishing all the things that you want. Now, I hope hearing this has helped you at least consider balancing the soft life with working hard towards your goals. I want you to consider your energy ranges and knowing what boundaries you need to keep with yourself so that you can work hard without compromising the lifestyle that you want. So let's go back to that energy levels example. Let's say that you have client requests to respond to and launch emails that need to be scheduled and calls coming up, and it's a lot. It might require you to operate at a 70, not at burnout levels, but a level that is higher than normal. You honestly would love to have your days at like a 40 to 60 range. Now, my question for you is your day at a 70 because you have so much to do? Or is your day at a 70 because the thought of writing launch emails feels scary? Because think back. You've had days with client calls and feedback requests and then doing family things in the evening, and that didn't stress you out. But those launch emails, that raises your anxiety, and all of a sudden you're stressed. I want you to know the difference between having a day at 70 because you have so many things to do and having a day at a 70 because you have anxiety around how well you can do certain tasks. Because how you solve for each of those is completely different. So be honest with yourself. What level are you operating at? Ask yourself this at the beginning of the day and then ask yourself why. Is your number high because you're overloading your plate and doing too many tasks in one day? If that's the case, go rearrange your schedule. Or is your number high because you're doing something that's new or something that you're nervous about? You might realize that you actually don't mind putting in the work, but when you're worried about if the work is going to be good or if the work will get you results, that raises your number. Learning the difference between effort and exhaustion, that's key. Now, if you're actively in a period of burnout, please go to episode 29 because operating with high functioning burnout, that will not get you results faster. Then also work with a professional. But if you've recovered from your burnout and you want a marketing strategy that honors your energy levels while still helping you to get clients, the blueprint is designed for ambitious coaches who refuse to burn out again. We will make it so that your marketing efforts don't push you close to your burnout number. I've helped clients who had chronic burnout experiences know what it's like to build healthy boundaries for themselves as they grow their business. It's important for you to learn how to work towards a goal, book clients, and stay peaceful. I have worked with service providers who were afraid of burning out again peacefully market their business. I've worked with mothers who wanted to launch new offers while caring for newborns. I've worked with coaches who wanted to move to different countries while growing their business. And it is all possible for you. It is possible for you to build your business and test your marketing without burning out again. Go to the show notes and book a free sales call. I want to talk to you about what it looks like to honor your soft life era while still making progress towards those big business goals that you have. All right, y'all. Until next time, I'll talk to you soon.
If you want more marketing that works right in your inbox, Head to the show notes and sign up for the email list. You'll be the first to know how you can work with me on mastering your marketing.